Billy Joe would burst into our dressing room and go, "Hey guys, tits out for the lads," and then run back. And Drake will be doing the same.
Welcome. We are Neil,
Luke, and Dave.
340-somethings reminiscing on the runners and riders of 90s guitar music.
We look at the bands who soundtracked our youth on both sides of the pond and interview some of our heroes from the bands that defined a generation.
You'll hear about the good, the bad, and the ugly of 90s guitar music.
This podcast is Stupid and Contagious. Welcome to episode 26 of the Stupid and Contagious podcast. It's a fun one, this one, isn't it? Got Adam from China Drum on. Really nice guy. So looking forward to sharing that with everyone. Before we get into this week's episode, how is everyone? Dave went out on the piss like a teenager the other night, didn't you, Dave?
Oi, oi, Savaloy.
Oh, yeah, Alfriston did a pub crawl.
There's only, how many pubs are there?
About 6.
Oh, really? In that little village?
You only have 4 pints, though.
I know, but a lot of the pubs now, they don't close at 11 anymore. They just close when there's hardly any customers left.
You didn't go till 6 then, did you?
No, so the Smugglers closed at 10.
Right.
How many did you go to, Dave?
We just went to 2.
Right. You went to 2 pubs and had 4 pints and woke up with a hangover. That's brilliant.
Oh, it wasn't just a hangover. I felt I was going to be sick. I just managed to keep it down.
Mate, I'm with you all the way, man. Anything over 2 pints these days, and I wake up, I'm fucked.
No, I don't drink, do I? For this very reason.
I think my drink was spiked.
No, you're just old, man. You're just old. That's what happens.
Oh, it was horrible. Well, I'm all right now.
But did you have a good time?
He walked home with a traffic cone on his head. Didn't you?
But
I was only out for 2.5 hours.
Well, that's right. 4 pints in 2.5 hours. That's not bad going. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Yeah, give you that. You had a whiskey on it when you got home, though, didn't you?
Yeah, just while we were watching Vigil, so I had a whiskey while I watched that. But then, yeah, that must have been the nail in the coffin.
I reckon that might have done it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Luke, have you done anything that crazy this week, or?
Nothing as absolutely mental as Dave's debauchery, his bender.
It's fucking mental in Berwick, isn't it? Berwick's like the place to be. People go fucking mad over there.
Yeah. No, I didn't go on a bender like Dave. No.
Is anyone going to go ask me what I've done?
Dave, are you interested, Dave?
I'm a bit short of time, that's all.
I haven't done anything anyway.
No, Neil, what have you done?
I haven't done anything.
You've bought a van, haven't you?
Fuck, yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Tell us
about
about
van.
it.
I'm going to live in it, aren't I? Bought a big yellow van.
He's already plotting his next YouTube project for when he ditches us.
Right. That's a good idea.
No. Not ditching you guys, but yeah, I'm going to build a van and live in it, hopefully. That's the idea. Why not?
Brilliant. The open road. That's it, man. There's only one way of life.
Think you're committing treason for trying to live on the road?
Bastards.
You show him, man. You show Thatcher. Yeah,
no,
go
that's
on.
what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to shove it to the man. Fuck him.
Yeah.
That's about it, really. I'm trying to think if I've watched anything of musical notation.
Of what?
It's not the right word.
I said that right.
It's all good, man. I watched a couple of documentaries, just the ones that were recommended on the Facebook page. The L7 one I watched, which was really good.
Have you watched it? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They made no money. They just got fucked over by the record company and everything.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to have a watch. What was the other one?
That Swedish one you were talking about last time.
Did you enjoy it?
Swedish indie pop one. Yeah. I mean, it was a badly made documentary.
Oh, it's long.
Long is okay, but it was not a well-made film. But it was interesting. A lot of stuff I didn't know, right? So that's the main thing.
Yeah. Some of the bands on there I'm definitely going to go and have a listen to. It's my kind of music. I really liked it. Really sort of melodic, sort of pop, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. A lot of it's a bit twee for me, but I
know. I didn't think you'd like it.
Yeah, not all of it, but I liked finding out stuff I didn't know.
I mean, I remember at the time you were never a massive Kent fan, whereas I quite liked them. But
Yeah. Well, I wasn't actually. Dave's a Kent guy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
actually, I haven't heard their album in English.
it's worth listening to. It's all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
quite
well,
liked it.
I really like the Cardigans' first album as well,
Mm.
which was just completely off the wall, really, compared to all the other stuff that was about.
What do you mean off the wall? Why was it off the wall?
They're a guitar band, right? But they didn't sound like any other guitar band, and because of her voice, really, it's just completely
Yeah, it's
That
got
unique
kind of,
vocal.
a unique,
it was quite
unique vocal. Yeah,
it's quite loungy and laid back, wasn't it? I quite liked it.
They had some great songs, the Cardigans. They really did. There's some great songs.
Yeah, they were great. I bet I did have a bit of a crush on her at the time as well. I remember.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
think we all did, mate.
Right, so let's get into this week's episode. Adam from China Drum. If you are watching this on YouTube, then please do subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And if you're listening, rate, review, do all the things it asks you to do, so the podcast can get found. Wikipedia are really lazy on this one. English punk rock band. That's it.
I think they'd probably be happy with that. I mean, I wrote down pop punk power trio.
Yeah, you love a power trio, don't you?
I do. Although on their Bandcamp page, they describe themselves as alternative indie band with a punk ethos. But I think that kind of misses the whole kind of pop aspect to their sound, which was a big part of who they were. You know, maybe not who they are now,
Yeah, I
but
think,
it
yeah.
was who they were in the beginning. You know.
I think so, yeah. Tell us a little bit more about them, Luke.
So started way back in 1986 in
86.
Northumberland.
What are you doing in
Yeah.
86?
I was probably trying to see whose watch had the deepest waterproofness with my friends. It was a big
50
thing when you
meters.
were like 10 or 11, wasn't it? As
I
if you were
mean,
ever going to go
important.
down that far.
You die at 50 meters. You're dead, but your watch is still going.
You were king, man, if you got one of those.
I had a watch that told the time in 25 different countries. It's pointless. Yeah,
I still rock a Casio digital, as you can see.
bet you fucking it. Was it gold-plated one?
Silver, not real.
Dave, 86, what are you up to?
Yeah, going out, seeing lots of bands, going down the pub a lot.
Wicked.
I was 9.
Yeah.
smoking,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Yeah.
You were playing Sabutio, Neil, yeah, setting up there.
Yeah, probably. There might have been, I think I started Sabutio in 87, 88. No, later than that, 89 maybe.
Well, you mean when you were too old for it, you started it?
Yeah, pretty much. All right. It took me a while to get into the Cool Gang, didn't it?
You're welcome. You're welcome.
86 I started.
Started off playing in a pig shed, as he talks about in the interview.
Yeah, I love that.
An actual shed for pigs. But they didn't actually start releasing stuff until 93. So a good, 7 or 8 years after they started.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It is, yeah. Same with Smash, right? These kind of big long gaps between starting and putting things out.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's not that long. If you think how recently 2020 seems.
That's because we're old, though. When you're young, that's a long time.
Yeah, when you're in a band, it feels like you've been doing it for.
Yeah.
Main Street only had a 4 or 5 year career.
Oh, it felt like decades.
I mean, career's an interesting word, isn't it?
The career of the band.
Yeah. I mean, flexible word, isn't it? Career. Start putting out singles. John Peel played, I think, their first single, as he did for a lot of bands, right? And they actually released loads of singles before they released their first album, which wasn't actually released until 96.
Yes, that's 10 years, isn't it?
So Goose Fair, basically their kind of most kind of melodic poppy record. I really like it. Hits from there, Last Chance, Biscuit Barrel.
Yeah, it's good.
And Secret Track was their cover of Wuthering Heights as the bonus track.
Yeah, Goose Fair's brilliant. I really like it.
And got a lot of attention. Started touring with loads of bands, most notably Green Day. But Green Day themselves were starting out at this point as well, so they weren't the massive band that they would become.
He talks about in the interview. They went on their Ducky tour, didn't they? When that was just sort of dropping. And Mike Dirnt, he wore a China Drum T-shirt in the "When I Come Around" video. Must have helped, surely.
Sure.
But yeah, Green Day. Yeah, they weren't the massive band they are now, but they were on their way, weren't they?
But do you think they're quite a similar band? China Drum wouldn't be insulted to think if I thought they sounded like Green Day, would they?
No.
Or maybe
I don't
vice
think
versa. They're quite a similar sound. But would you call Green Day punk?
Oh man, to Americans, Green Day are like the definition of punk, right? Or to people younger, they're like the definition of punk. I don't think they are,
Right.
but there you go.
I really didn't like Green Day then, but I think now I can listen to it and think, quite like that.
I don't know. I do like Green Day, but there's something about they must be nearly 60, right? I don't know. It's just, it doesn't really work for me.
Old punks.
The drummer freaks me out. He looks fucking, what's his name? I can't remember what his name is. He looks fucking weird with his eyeliner and stuff now.
Okay. Is there an age limit on wearing eyeliner?
Not always,
like
but some people can pull it off, but I just don't think he can. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's starting to look a bit weird, I think.
Yeah. But I really liked that album when it came out, Ducky.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Also played with Ash and Supergrass and other kind of, poppy, lively, punky, happy bands,
Yeah.
which they were.
Yeah, and they played with Compulsion as well, didn't they? Who I think
They
very
did
similar
indeed.
in sounding, really. That would have been a great gig to go to, I reckon.
Yeah, well, played with them. Well, again, we won't give it away, but in the interview, it talks about when and where they play. They also went out and played in Bosnia around this time. There's a little interview on YouTube with them talking about it. Yeah, which is cool. If you remember back to our episode with Nigel from Dodgy, and I mentioned it in there, they did a similar thing as well when they turned down Nebworth and went out to Bosnia instead. So,
That's right. Yeah.
A few bands were kind of doing that at the time, which is really cool, So that was 96. Second album came out just a year later in 97, Self-Made Maniac. Got pretty bad reviews, basically. I don't understand. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Just the music press going.
The fickle music press, isn't it?
Yeah, they're just making stuff up.
Yeah, I read a couple of what's the word? Contemporaneous reviews of it, and they were just saying stuff it wasn't. They were saying it's all a kind of aggressive, all the pop's gone, and I don't think it has. I think it's just as poppy and melodic as the first one. I think.
Yeah, a lot of people just talked a lot of shit back then. I think. Well, they probably still do. I don't really read music mags anymore, but
so yeah, they basically didn't do so well. And then in 1998, a year after that, Jan from Compulsion joined them as a drummer. So they were a 4-piece now with our guest Adam just taking on frontman duties. Yeah. And basically they changed their whole sound, and they changed it so much they thought they needed to change their name as well. So they became The Drum.
Yeah, because I think Jan took more of a writing role as well. So they wanted it to reflect that it was a different band sort of thing.
Resulted in their third album, Diskin in 2000. I really, really like this album. I say to him, but I hadn't heard it. I didn't know about it until we were getting ready to talk to him. And I think it's kind of experimental. I hear 6x7. I hear 9 Inch Nails. I hear post-hardcore. I hear really cool stuff. And then I was getting ready to do this today, and I went back and I found an old NME review of it at the time, and they said it sounded like fucking Placebo.
I like Placebo.
It doesn't.
But it doesn't
so
sound
do
like
I,
that,
but it
no.
doesn't sound anything like Placebo. And I was like, fuck off, that's. Although you say I didn't mind Placebo. That was one of the worst concerts I've ever been to. Was a Placebo. Day was boring as fuck. It was so bad. It was really boring. Yeah, it was terrible.
I think I've seen them live at a festival, and again, I don't think they were great. Weird, isn't it? Most bands are better live, but maybe they're just one of those that aren't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's not very good. I put them in the same category as Muse.
Yeah, kind of. But I don't think the moustache and eyeliner thing works for him these days.
These days, right?
Can I say that?
Right.
I think
Of
he
course
just
you
looks a
can.
bit weird. He doesn't look good. I think it just looks a bit weird.
I think he did look good back in the day. With
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's a
yeah,
good looking.
the androgynous thing going. It works. It worked well when I guess. Yeah.
People literally didn't know when he did that Top of the Pop performance whether he was male or female. Yeah.
Yeah.
and that was,
That's great.
I've got to look at some pictures of him.
Yeah, just look at the more recent ones. He's got long hair and a moustache and eyeliner. It just doesn't really.
I don't mind the moustache. What's wrong with it?
Oh, see? Well, subjective,
There
isn't
you
it?
go.
I don't really like moustaches, I guess.
Is that because Nigel had one?
He's got a beard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Nigel's Neil's dad for listeners, and he looks exactly like Chuck Norris.
He does.
He does, man. He does. He's pretty badass. So basically, the drum broke up pretty soon after that, in the same year, in 2000. We formed in 2013 and have just been touring sporadically. They put out kind of an album. They put out an album last year, which is pretty good. And if you go to their Bandcamp, there's loads of really cool stuff. There's like cover versions. They've got loads of like acoustic stuff that they've done up there. They just seem to kind of like chuck up anything they want on Bandcamp. So if you want to hear what they've been up to.
It's got their first ever gig on there or something. They do a lot of acoustic stuff now, don't they? And it just sounds like a fun night out. It's because Adam's a really funny guy anyway. And I think it's just a mixture of them playing acoustic tunes and having a laugh. So
yeah, I was watching saw a couple of videos on YouTube of those acoustic nights. It's good. It looks fun.
Yeah. Okay, so let's have a listen to the interview. Here's Adam from China Drum. Enjoy. Adam, thanks for coming on the podcast. How is everything at the moment?
Everything's really, really cool, actually. We have me and Bill got together about, when was it? Well, it was probably about 2 years ago when he turned up on my doorstep after 13 years of not being anywhere.
Yeah.
And he said he had about 30 songs. So I said, right, okay, let's go, let's do it. And he brought them down and we started a thing, and we brought the first album out, and we've got another collection of songs that we're working on now. So it's going really well, and we've got some acoustic gigs sorted as well, which is nice to do.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, congratulations on the album. It's like you never went away. The new album, it's great.
Do you love it?
Excellent. I do. Yeah, I really like it.
I've had some mixed reviews.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people are expecting 1, 2, 3, 4 punk rock, let's go type of stuff, and we're not. We were never like that anyway.
I was going to say that you never were.
Yeah.
So, but it was just the support that we did with Green Day and stuff like that. It kind of gave us the label to live up to, if you know what I mean. But no one actually listened to us when we did support them anyway, so they never got it until they just read the press clip and said, "Oh, you've supported Green Day, so you must be like Green Day." Do you know what I mean? But you know yourselves, it's not the way it happens. So
yeah. How was that Green Day tour?
Oh, it was mental, man. Absolutely mental. It was just as Dookie was breaking. So you can imagine the fucking hysteria. It's okay to swear, isn't it?
Yeah. It's mandatory.
We are encouraged.
It's encouraged. Yeah. So the mayhem and madness that ensued just from day one was just unbelievable. From the Green Day lads themselves, teaching them how to speak Geordie, them firing quotes from the Viz comic, and Sid the Sexist was their favorite character. So Billy Joe would burst into our dressing room and go, "Hey guys, tits out for the lads," and then run back. And Trey Cool would be doing the same. Yeah, I maybe we just got on really well with them because it was such a good time for them. It was a good time for us because it was the sort of first-ish sort of major support slot that we'd got. And we were just going, fucking hell, this is mint.
Yeah, I bet. What a great.
What were the crowds like on the tour?
Yeah, absolutely. The crowds were, really responsive, really good. They were, I mean, I was stage diving at the end of each sort of gig for us. At the end of each show for us, I was, jumping in the crowd and getting myself to the bar. It was the quickest way to do it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we just take you right the way back to the beginning? It's late 80s. Is that? Yeah, late 80s. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Somewhere.
I got the first drum kit in 1986, so I was 16.
Yeah. So you started the band. You're somewhere very far up north from us. We're Brighton boys, so we're right down the south. But
right. Yeah, so you're not a million miles away from Hastings, then?
No,
right?
no, not at all.
No, so that's where we reformed for a while with John and Kate, who Kate standing in for drums for me, and John came on guitar because Bill was AWOL. So they're living down in Hastings now, so that's why we haven't been able to get together to rehearse to do the FMR gigs.
Yeah.
Rather than we just started doing acoustic shows, and if the ball keeps rolling the way it's rolling, then we'll get together and we'll be able to afford to rehearse and get together as a 5-piece even, which is what it'll be, by then.
Yeah.
So back to 1986, 87.
Yeah, let's go back to 86.
Yeah,
just explain to how the band will come together, just for people that don't know.
Obviously me and Dave were in the same school year together, so we always talked about being in a band. We always, his brother had a drum kit which I used to borrow, and he had a bass guitar, and then Bill used to join him with the guitar and stuff like that. It was just like a get together at Dave's house, and then I got a drum kit in 1986 for my 60th birthday, and we started rehearsing in the pig shed, and that was down at.
That was literally a pig shed, right?
Which it was literally
it was a cool venue
built to house pigs. No, it would be a brilliant name for a venue, actually.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. I mean, in the summer it smelled of pig piss and stuff like that, and then in the winter there was no heating whatsoever, so fucking freezing.
Especially up there, yeah.
And then in the summer, hence.
It's nice to have a permanent place to rehearse, though, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. We were so lucky to have that because we were relentless with the rehearsing. We were down most nights, in the evening times after work and stuff like that. So it was so brilliant to have that.
Who was your early sort of drum influences?
For me, it was Stuart Copeland. Was the first sort of drumming influence. Stuart Copeland, the session drummers that used to play with. Funny you should say this, but Joan Armatrading and stuff like that. It was all these session music that the rest of my older family used to listen to. That I used to hear the drumming and go, "Fuck hell, how the hell do they do that?" And then, but the session drummer, they wouldn't be, named in the band or anything.
Yeah.
Until I came across Stuart Copeland in the Police and just went, I want to be like him.
Yeah, he's a great drummer, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And a nice guy. He comes across as a cool guy as well.
Absolutely,
I like a bit of the Police.
He does a lot of composing as well, film scores and stuff like that, which is awesome. I'm not that clever. So.
Who else were you listening to? So, not necessarily for drums, but just who else were you listening to?
Yeah, so in 1986 time, I was listening to Husker Du. Me and Dave were heavily into Husker Du, Stiff Little Fingers, The Clash, The Stranglers. I was heavily into New Order, and then and Dave was listening to a lot of Queen stuff. He was listening to who else was he listening to? He'd come up with better names, but kind of like the meat cons and the vibrators and stuff like that. It sort of late sort of 70s punk and post punk stuff like that. Adam the Ants I used to like when I was a kid. When
Oh,
I
me
was
too.
sort of 12, 13 years old, I was heavily into Adam and the Ants, and then you know, it was good crack. You know, it was good to be part of a team.
It's interesting that you said about Husker Du, because we purposely weren't going to ask you about obviously you playing drums and singing, because it's a cliched question that you probably get asked all the time. But obviously with the Husker Du thing, they had a similar dynamic.
Yeah, well, they did.
Is that
it was Grant Hart to me was the epitome. Well, it basically said to me that you could do it. You know, it wasn't a no because I could do it physically. It wasn't the physical thing that was stopping us doing it. It was just like, well, the drumming, singing, really.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, no, I'm going to fucking do it. And so we did. But, when we first started playing, oh my God, we used to play the clubs and play Stiff Little Fingers covers and Clash covers and stuff like that. And Husker Du songs. And, so I'd end up singing the whole lot. And people would be standing there going, you're miming because the singer's not even on stage. And that.
You can work it.
Geeked out.
Blew their minds.
Yeah, man, totally blew their minds.
I mean, were you ever tempted?
I mean,
to add more members.
Yeah,
we love a good power trio. But was there a reason why you left at U3, even if you were going to stay as a singing drummer?
No, we did try. We did think about it a couple of times. We had, I think it was 88, maybe. Yeah, somewhere around there where we got a lad in called Dave the Bean, we called him, because he only ate baked beans. That's all he ever ate. And he recorded.
He thought it wasn't much fun to be in the pig shed with.
Oh, you won't be in the pig shed with Dave?
No. Go on, sorry, I interrupted you I apologize.
Yeah, so we got him in for a couple of. I think we did a demo at the Bunker, with Frankie Stubbs. I think I seem to remember, so we did that for a little while, and then I went back to be a three-piece again. I was standing at the front going, "Fucking hell, I want to hit something really hard here." So, went back to the drum.
Cool. Right. Cool. Right. Yeah.
So what sort of bands were you listening to when you were sort of honing your China drum sound?
Yeah, so Husker Du, the Clash of Stranglers, later Stranglers stuff. Wow, Mega City 4.
Yeah, I spoke to Jerry a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you? Oh,
yeah, lovely guy.
Lovely lads, the Megas, and Wiz is a massive miss for us. He was a huge inspiration for us, and he gave us a lot of advice in the early days, because we used to go see them at our local venue called the Riverside in Newcastle, and they just pack the place out, and we'd just have a ride. We'd get pissed and chuck demo tapes at him and stuff like that, and then he picked one of them up, and then we got a phone call about a week later saying, "Do you fancy coming on tour, lads?"
Oh wow!
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah. So it was absolutely amazing, and on that tour, we were on the tour bus with them, so that was the first tour bus experience for us as well, and got on really well with them, and just a lovely bunch of lads, absolutely lovely, and just I can't express enough how much they helped us on our way, and made sure that we didn't do anything silly. Do you know what I mean? Don't sign your publishing up too soon and stuff like that. And
that's great that they were there to give you that advice. And amazing that the whole chucking a demo tape.
It worked. It could be the first time it's ever worked.
It did work. Yeah. It did work. Yeah.
So these bands that say there's no point, but it can happen. You've proved it. You've got
to try. You've got to try.
Got to try.
Try. And I mean,
Exactly
the amount
right.
of times we traipsed up and down the A1 down to London to do a gig where, you know, we got paid what, tenner sometimes, and we'd paid
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
food, and there was three of us, and I mean, most of the time there was just three of us on our own. Sometimes we took our mates, sometimes we took
Yeah.
John Greatwood, our sound man, who ended up helping us with Goose Fair in the end.
Yeah.
He ended up being our permanent sound man. But he was just doing, I think he was at Newcastle Uni, and he was doing sound production there. And a lad called Rich, who ended up being our guitar tech for a little while.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah, but
so you mentioned Mega City 4. Other, you know, there were like Leatherface and stuff. I know you've been associated
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
and like, I mean, did you feel like part of like a scene? It's like when all that kind of
absolutely,
kicked
yeah.
off.
Part of the scene especially in Sunderland, Newcastle, we used to play the Broken Doll a lot. We used to play the Riverside with the Megas eventually, and then Leatherface and Lee Thugs and you know, 530 and stuff like that. And it was just
Oh yeah, yeah.
all it was all just, I mean, 530. I watched a YouTube thing of them, and it was
Yeah.
like, fuck, and they were awesome.
They were
How the
great. They were great. Yeah.
How the fuck did they explode into the universe and just go, listen to us? But yeah, it's just what happened.
I've
Isn't it?
no idea, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Just phenomenal voice on him, like absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, yeah. I always think of them as like a precursor to these Animal Men 530. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They did that kind of look about them, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And who else did they remind us of? Who a recent, not a recent one, but a recent three-piece. Well, 1986 version, more recent than them. That my son got really into, and I was like, they remind me of somebody, and I couldn't place it, and it was 530 who they reminded us
Right.
of.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm on the and Senseless Things as well. Another
Yeah.
mint band.
We're big Senseless Things fans. We
Yeah.
had
Well,
Ben on as well. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It was a lovely guy.
And we saw Leatherface with the Senseless Things at the time as well. So
Right.
yeah.
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 Yeah,
Great
it's
stuff.
just states. I mean, the bands like that. I mean, we used to tour with Leatherface quite a lot. We did one of our first tours was with Leatherface, and again we got on with Dickie so well. We just were like drinking, which was always a help. And it was good. We just had a fucking riot and loved it.
Is that what those tours were like? They're quite sort of
Pure
loose.
Well.
debauchery. Yeah,
Oh, that's good then.
yeah. It was.
That's what we want
we
to
didn't.
think, so.
Well, yeah, exactly. We'll think it because it's true. It's true. We drank freely from the chalice of tomfoolery regularly.
Good.
Did you throw a TV out of a hotel window?
No, we used to do silly things like throw the TV remote control out of the first floor window so we could go around and pick it up and bring it back in, so we didn't get the bill.
It's good enough, man.
Nice.
It's good enough.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was punk rock to us. We just stuck a finger up to conformism and didn't throw the TV out the window. We just kept doing sensible things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they expect you to do. Fuck that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, fuck the system, man.
And so I guess I think compared to someone like Leatherface, like China Drum basically broke out of the underground, right? I mean, how? I guess.
Well, I think it was the aid of doing support with Green Day was one of the major things, because I mean Green Day paid us out of their own pockets, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so
Just because
Green
they just
Day
liked China Drum so much, they were just really into the band.
They played, I think we did the first gig at the Garage in London with Green Day. Just as Dookie was coming out, and they loved us and we loved them, and you know, we loved their sort of the whole ethos on stage, and just not giving a shit and just fucking but playing well. Do you know what I mean? And being what's the word, conscientious that a crowd of people had paid a load of money to come and see you. and it was a load of
Yeah.
money to them because they were just
Yeah.
kids, you know what I mean? So they'd
Yeah.
saved up for fucking 6 months to buy a ticket for a gig. So, you know, they went on and did a performance, not just here's a couple of songs. They went on and performed, and I think we saw them do that and just thought, this is absolutely brilliant. The way they talked and included the crowd in what they were doing, and you know, it wasn't a we hated the kind of 80s glam metal poodle rock, we used to call it, because it was all show off, put on the monitor and listen to my guitar solo, isn't it fucking wanky and shit like that. We hated all of that, and Green Day used to take piss out of them. Anybody heard of Twisted Sister and shit like that? And so yeah, I mean, that was a first foothold on getting there, get us noticed in the business, as it were. And then as soon as we started touring with the Fly Medallions, we did a mini, not a mini tour, but a semi-headline tour with them. So one night they'd headline, and then next night we would headline, and then we'd just swap around like that. And that was about the time that we got interest from a lot of record labels, obviously off the back of the Green Day thing, I think. But they were coming to the shows and they were going, yeah, let's come out for a meal and shit like that. And we just wanted to play music, you know what I mean? We just want to sing. And but yeah, it was nice to have that interest, but it was also nice to go, hold on a minute, we can turn this into a living, because we, you know, Bill and Dave worked at the time. Bill worked at the brewery and Dave worked at the TSB bank. So I was picking them up on Friday afternoon in the van, and then driving down to London and doing gigs, and then driving back up again. Wow. So it was generally a weekend of no sleep, you know, and lots of bottles of Coca-Cola.
Yeah. But go on, Neil. Go on.
No, you carry on.
I was just going to say, I mean, but there was quite a long gap between like starting out and then releasing records, right? I mean, do you think that kind of extra time kind of helped you like perfect the sound, so that when the debut album dropped, it was just like a fully formed thing, right? Do you think that's
well, I mean, most of the songs on Goose Fair were written during that period, exactly what that we're talking about. So we had the first single we did ourselves, so we did a self-financed single in 1993, and that was around about the time that we were touring with Mega City 4. So we sold the single on tour, we sold shirts on tour, you know, off the back of the advice of Mega City 4 saying, bring a single out, they'll sell. Bring your t-shirts out, they'll sell.
T-shirt kings, aren't they?
You know, it'll well, exactly. The merchandise kings, them and Neds Atomic Dustbin, man, they were just
and Carter,
massive.
Yeah,
Carter, I put Carter's album on the other day, man. Fucking hell, I started crying. How ridiculous is that? Just because it just like, haven't heard this for so long. It's funny how you don't listen to stuff for ages, and then you put it on, you go, fuck me, man. Where was I when this happened? And it just brought us straight back. Anyway,
power of music, man. It's
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It really is.
It is.
So yeah, we got into doing the merch. We got into doing the self-financed singles, and then we got interest from Fluffy Bunny Records, which was again a bloke who was a picture framer by living, and then he wanted to release music as a sideline, which he did with his mates. So we released let's have a think. First it was Great Fire. That was like an EP that we did with Fluffy Bunny, and then Barrier after that. And then after Barrier we got picked up by Mantra Records, which is part of Beggars Banquet.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah. So we'd had Simple, Great Fire and Barrier out, which had 3 or 4 songs on each. So we'd had quite a lot out before then. And then I think Fall Into Place was our first single on Mantra. And that was when we got the main stage at Redden slot, which was in 1995. So on you go, lads, perform. It's like, fucking hell, there's 40,000 people out. That was the first festival we'd ever been to, never mind played at.
Oh, really? I mean, how was
Off you
it?
go, lad. It'll be fine. I just recently heard a recording that was done for John Peel.
Yeah.
And I've heard the whole lot. And when I listened to it, I immediately thought we're going to release this and call it Watts and Al. And that's what we're going to call the live EP, because fucking hell. All I do is swear, right? Being on BBC Radio, that wasn't too good at the time.
No.
But all the songs were 1 billion miles an hour as well. And but they were tight, and they were in key, and they were tight, but fucking hell.
Yeah, live you always play them a little bit faster, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Nervous energy and all that.
Who else was playing on the bill with you that year? I'm trying to think back to 1995.
I remember.
I think I was there. 95.
Green Day
was there.
No, I wasn't. 96.
That had the hovercraft. we took a hovercraft, but or not, that was the first thing we bought with our record advance from beggars. Was
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
A 2-seater hovercraft with an engine on it.
You still haven't explained it.
Okay, so you know what a hovercraft is, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
So we were sitting on the train reading Auto Trader, as you do.
Sure.
Okay, looking at bikes dribbling, stuff like that. Being Bill heavily into motorbikes and stuff like that.
All right.
And Bill spotted this hovercraft in the Auto Trader. And just went, "Oh lads, have you fucking seen this? It'll be mint, this man. It'll go on land and water." So
perfect.
He's right.
Have a look at it. Yeah, we went to have a look at it. It started first pull, so we went, right, we'll have it. So we bought it, painted it black and white, put a blue star on the front, and took it down to Reading Festival. And we drove it around the backstage area at Reading Festival, in between the buses and stuff like that. It was the best
great.
thing.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So,
where is the hovercraft now?
Well, the hovercraft died, unfortunately. But was it the pink? Was it the fairy animals that had a pink tank or something?
Oh, Super Fairy Animals. They did have a tank.
Yeah,
yeah.
They did have a tank.
So they got that tank after we bought the hovercraft.
Right. So you inspired that.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's go one better, didn't they? Yeah.
We were happy with the hovercraft, mate. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
How did you get the hovercraft to Reading Fest? Did you drive it? How did you get it there? I don't know. How did you transport
it can go on land and water, Neil. What don't you understand about the properties of a hovercraft?
Exactly.
Right. That's next to a river, isn't it, Reading Festival? Next to a river.
So Bill had a Ford Escort van, right, with a tow bar on it. We had a trailer for the hovercraft, and like a speedboat, you know, you win a bullseye. We
say that same thing.
Yeah. Oh, look, you've won a hovercraft.
Yeah,
that is great. That's great.
Great.
Yeah, so that was great. For we even got a push off Green Day as well.
Amazing. You said that was for John Peel. Like when you started getting played on the radio and like John Peel and stuff started playing. I mean, how exciting was that? He's my all-time hero, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It just had. We did one of the first interviews on Radio 1 we did with John Peel, and it was so relaxed, and even Bill spoke, and Bill never speaks in interviews ever, and he spoke, and he was like, "So John, when was the last time you saw a mid-band with a singing drummer?" Then John, you've got us there, like you've got us. So yeah, it was all to do with me singing and stuff like that, and just having a good time when we played. You know, it came across when we played songs. It came across that we were having a good time. So, you know, generally the first 3 people in the rows were having a good laugh as well. You know, which was what it was all about.
Yeah. It's great.
Was that at his house? Didn't he used to record the sessions at his house?
No, we didn't.
I made that up?
We didn't do an appeal session at the house. We did. It was the Reading Live that he recorded that he made his.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we went in the trailer afterwards after we'd played and sat down and did some interviews with him and Steve Lamacq as well.
Did you show them your hovercraft?
Yes, yeah. Well, one of the first questions is he said, "What the fuck is going on with this hovercraft?" He's like, "Well, we just bought it, John."
It's a good question to ask.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an icebreaker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You mentioned Steve Mac. I think probably the first time
Mhm.
that I heard China Drum was probably on the evening session. I guess
All right.
Barrel maybe or something like that. And
Biscuit Barrel.
yeah, I guess I have to admit I totally thought it was an American band, and I don't know why.
Did you Biscuit Barrel?
It's not the
Wow.
voice or anything. It just the whole atmosphere sounded not. I don't know. I just assumed it was American. Does that?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Did that help you? Did that help you sell records in America?
I don't think so, because it didn't sound. The Americans weren't fooled by it. If you,
Right. Yeah. Sure.
they those limey bastards. That's what we were renowned as.
Yeah.
That line threesome or whatever. But we we didn't do anything. We basically produced that with or the first version we did with Julian Standen, who had got in touch with us, interested in producing our stuff. And he had done Mrs. Robinson for the Leatherface for Lemonheads.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So, and I really liked the Lemonheads as well. In fact, me and Dave both did. So when we heard Mrs. Robinson, it was like, oh, brilliant, man! This is brilliant. And then I found out that Jules had produced that, so we went, yeah, let's do it. So we did those first two EPs, Great Fire and Barrier, with Julian Standard.
Oh, that's great, because that's a great sounding record, isn't it? That Dinosaur, not Dinosaur Junior,
Mrs. Robinson cover. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the way the drums kick in at the end, man, it's just fucking get in.
Yeah, such a good cover. Yeah. But talking about covers, I don't think
you're
Wuthering. Not that I can think of. So yeah, we got to talk about Wuthering Heights. It's pretty iconic.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was that when it started to get a bit of airplay? Did you know that it would kind of take off in the way that it did? Because it did.
Do you know what?
We rocket.
We didn't have any clue of how people would get a hold of it and champion it. We didn't have an idea. We thought of it in Phil Barton's house, our manager at the time. Me and Bill and Dave were sitting there going, do you know what? I've always wanted to cover a Kate Bush song. And we thought, let's do it.
What a great artist.
Oh, man. Just unbelievable. I might have to plug you in, so excuse me while
go on.
That's all right. No.
Yeah.
You plug in. That's not a problem.
I've got you on a stand. Look, how clever is this? Look.
That's good, isn't it? We're getting a view of your house.
Small tour of my house.
Yeah.
You're not in the pig shed, are you?
No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Pig shed's gone. Right. Got power now.
No worries.
He's still there. That's a slight different, but never mind. That's fine. That's right. So yeah, what was I talking about? Wuthering Heights. Yeah. So we got to record it for the single that we were going to release with Fierce Panda.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So we did a Fierce Panda release first. So we learnt the song, recorded it, sang it, mixed it all in one day.
Oh really?
Wow. Amazing.
So and that was done. That was it. As far as we were concerned, that's the job done. I mean, we've always wanted to do it. We've done it. Right. Next. And we started moving on, and Radio 1 phoned us up and said, lads, if you make that an A side instead of a B side on a shared single, we probably give that A list in rotation. And I was like, okay, so that would be a massive seller, wouldn't it, lads?
Yeah.
That's not punk rock. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Sorry, you go on. Yeah. So they went, all right, then we're not giving A list then. I was like, ew.
Right.
But,
right.
That's how it happened, and then it ended up being a hidden track on
hidden track. Yeah.
it was re-recorded for that, and it's actually a slightly different, not different version, but it was just a different recording, that one.
Yeah.
I guess it took on a life of its own because of your live performances of it as well, right? Because it was pretty mad.
Yeah.
Was
We used to
pretty mad.
invite people up on stage to be Kate Bush while we played Wuthering Heights, and the stage invasions were, I think the most famous one was, well, the most violent one was Nottingham Rock City, where we asked one person up on stage to do Kate Bush at the front of the stage, and the whole fucking place just, me drunk it just got destroyed. It was quite funny, but yeah, it was a good night.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Speaking of covers, I was listening to some stuff up on Bandcamp this week. I really like the Enjoy the Silence cover on that. That was great.
Oh dear, yeah, we did that with Bill recently. Bill just came in with, fancy doing this, like, and then started playing it. I was like, oh, fucking get in. Yeah, let's do it. So we did it. Yeah. It's so good to play live as well. It's brilliant. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing acoustically. So we're doing a slight twist, and songs like, do you know Cloud 9 that we do on Goose Fair? So Bill just started off, and it's like fucking Riders on the Storm by the Doors. That sort of tempo. Nice. I was like, "Whoa, this really fucking works." This is mint.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did it. Me and Bill did an acoustic show at the Hairy Dog in Derby, and there was, we do song after song, but in between the songs we were chatting about tour stories and drivers that we had for the tour buses and mental things that had happened, and that I was remembering things halfway through a song and just cracking up and laughing my head off and we had to stop playing because I just remembered this thing that had happened on tour that was just so bizarre and funny that we just had to talk about it and stuff like that. So the acoustic shows are a mixture of hilarity, songs, and just having a good crack with and getting people to shout songs out and seeing if we can play it. Someone shouted out fucking we used to do a song called fucking hell, it's gone out of my head. Sleazeball, right? And we used to do it. It was a mental song at the end of the set, and it was at the end of the set generally because it used to blow speakers and stuff like that. So so we did an acoustic version of it in Derby because someone went, "Sleazeball, bet the fucking didn't play it," and we played.
You did it.
And, it was just,
did you do it fast style?
Well, we did it. We did it both kinds. We started off as sort of Riders on the Storm kind of tempo, and then Bill had this guitar pedal looper, so he was looping every time. So it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right. Yeah, just like nice. This is brilliant. Yeah. Crack on, Bill. I'll go to the bar.
I think it's really cool that you just come up on Bandcamp and people can listen to them. It's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great that we can have Bandcamp as a platform because there's demos on there that I've found in boxes where like I've recently moved house. Well, not recently, but about a year ago. But I'm still going through old boxes of band stuff that were in the shed, been packed away and just forgotten about. So there's our first ever gig that we did as a 3-piece, me, Bill, and Dave, in 1987, right? And it was done in a marquee for somebody's 21st birthday party, I think it was. That was our first ever gig that we played, and we got a recording of it. So I put that on Bandcamp.
Oh, that's up on there, is it? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Look for it, but don't get back to us on that one because
sure,
it's there's a lot of cover songs on there, and there's a lot of our own old songs on there, and it's really funny watching listening to it.
Sure.
It's just mint. Like, I mean, we do a U2 cover for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? But you got to start somewhere, haven't you? Yeah.
We forgive you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Crowd pleaser, I think we called them.
Going back to the touring in the 90s, did you tour America much?
Did we tour America much? Well, I think we went. Oh, the first tour we did. Right, I'll count them because I can count them on one hand probably. First tour we did was a summer tune-up where we flew it. Second tour we did in a car and a minivan. Third tour we did with Ash on their tour bus. They had a posh tour bus over there. A fourth tour we did with a car and a U-Haul trailer. And then the fifth tour we did, so it was 5 times, yeah.
You didn't take a hovercraft to America.
Well, we didn't take it. No, we couldn't get it out of the waterman. We ran out of fuel by Greenland.
What sort of crowds were you getting in America? The crowds very different over there.
That's
what we've heard.
We played CBGBs on the New York side, but that was rammed. Sort of on the east side, it was good. It was plenty of people there. Middle of the states, sort of nobody there. Even the dog got in for now. Do you know what I mean? And then the LA sort of side, San Diego, stuff like that. We used to play a venue in San Diego called the Casbah. Fucking hell, it was absolutely brilliant. But the bits in between were, it was like a different state was like playing a different country. So
we had a similar conversation with Sid from Compulsion, and he said they booked him in this venue for 1,500 people, and like 15 people turned up or something. So
15? Is that many? Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's quite happy with that. They got them all up on stage instead. So.
I was going to say, lucky bastards.
Yeah.
So we toured with Compulsion in Japan as well. Yeah.
I was going to ask about. I'm in Tokyo. So I was going to ask about that. How was it playing tour in Japan?
It was ace. Yeah, really good. Yeah, I mean, we didn't. It's hard to say a tour in Japan, isn't it? When it's Osaka, Tokyo, and that was about it.
Yeah,
Skidding from one to the other.
Nagoya sometimes.
So,
yeah.
Nagoya. Yeah, sorry, you forgot about that. But I think we did 4 or 5 nights with them. Had a mint time, and then we came back, and then went back. No, it was the other way around. We toured first of all with us, and then the second time we went was with Compulsion. So I think that was when we got to know Jan quite a lot, quite well. We got on with him.
That's how you knew him. Okay.
Yeah, well, we knew of Compulsion because we used to play at the Hollow Square with them and stuff like that. And if we did anywhere else with Compulsion in the UK, I think the Square and Hollow. What was that one in Bedford? Esquires in Bedford. That was a good venue. And it again, meeting a similar band like us who had the similar sort of outlook on life, who fucking just wanted to play fucking punk rock, but not in a punk rock style. But you know what I mean? That sort of do what we want to do type of thing, and we just loved it. So that's how we got to know Jan, and then Compulsion got dropped. And so we immediately asked Jan. We were busy recording South Me Maniac at the time, and we immediately asked Jan to join the band as our 4th member.
I mean, how did that change the dynamics when he got on board?
It was really, really exciting for me because knowing how well Jan could play the drums, it was, that I didn't have to. He hit them fucking so hard as well. So hard he hit them, and it wasn't once in every 5 beats he would hit them hard. It was like fucking hell. He proper waxed these bastards. Yeah, like so. Having that energy coming from him, and just playing it right, and putting all the little flams in and stuff like that, and it was like fucking hell. It's like an extension of my own body, man. It was awesome. So I got on with being a tit at the front.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
And That's when is that when you changed the name as well, wasn't it, to the drum? Or
We didn't change the name of the drum until we'd finished touring South Main out. So we'd finished that with Jan, and then we went into writing the third album. And when we started writing the third album, we did it as a 4-piece, which we'd never written as a 4-piece before.
Right.
So that changed the whole writing dynamics. And I think it was to be as fair to our past listeners to explain to them that the writing process had totally changed because there was a fourth member involved. And, you know, instead of 3 people writing songs in a shed, it had gone to 4 people writing stuff in the TB ward, which is what we called the new sort of rehearsal space that we were using because it had mold on the walls. So we're going to the TB ward today.
That was smelling of piss, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
pig's piss.
Until we'd smoked 40 tabs in there, and then it was just pure nicotine and cigarette smoke, which that got rid of the mold smell as well, which was good.
I'd never heard the album until I knew that we'd be interviewing you, and I listened to it. It's really good. I really like that Diskin album. It's like a whole combination of loads of stuff I like. It's I mean, it had a lot of ups and downs for me personally. I'd just had my eldest son at the time. So it was probably about 6 months to 12 months old, maybe. So it was a hectic time for me, and it was really hard. And I'd moved away, so I was living about 40 miles away from the rehearsal place. So it was difficult to get there every day. It was just a hard time for me. The writing process had totally changed. I wasn't drumming anymore. As we were writing, you know, so it was a difficult process for me, but we got through it fucking by tang and heather, just hanging on by my fingernails. And then we released Diskin, and there was a lot of Jan's wrote a lot of songs on Diskin. He'd written them and brought them into the rehearsal space. So credit to him, he'd fucking gone, right, let's get this fucking album out and do it. But it was such a hard time for me. It really was. But I think I can still listen to it now, and be proud of what we did on there. Definitely, it's you know, the experimental guitar sounds, the experimental drum sounds, the different way that I've you know, crafted melodies and stuff like that through the songs. I mean, most of them are Jan's melodies on top of the stuff that he'd written, but then there's other stuff that we wrote in the TB ward, and I came up with the melody for it, you know. So but yeah, it was brain stretching, I think is the best word for it. I really like it.
Yeah, how was it received when it came out? Were you happy with it?
It got some good reviews from some people, like Krang and people like that gave it, you know, 4 out of 5. I think I could be wrong, but I think that's what happens. But then people like Melody Maker and NME just fucking hated it. Like, how dare you play something different? Do you know what I mean? They're all on the dole now, and I'm not. You know what I mean?
There you go.
There you go.
So when you did get back together and reform, you kind of went back to your initial sound. Do you play any of the tracks from that era, from that album when you
from Diskin?
Yeah.
The only one that we come close to is Horns Front.
Okay.
That's about the only one. And Reasons we've had to go out as well. So it's a possibility that we'll probably do either Reasons or Horns Front or something like that. But it's I mean, we play them in rehearsals when me and Bill have practiced together.
Okay. Yeah. We've
what's
kept you a
ahead?
long time. We won't keep you much longer. We apologise.
Yeah.
No worries.
Sorry. Just
What's ahead for the band? Are you thinking of recording anything new or?
Nowadays,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working on some new stuff now. The Bill's left with us now. Well, he's gone over to. He's driving his truck in Europe, tramping out of the van, he calls it. So he's living in a truck while driving. So he's earning a living over there. And I'm working on the vocals on the songs that he's left us. So there's another
cool.
Probably another 15, 20 to get out.
And that'll be coming out. Okay.
Yeah, so I would say probably once Bill's got back, I don't know. I'll put 8 months on it, but maybe not that long, and maybe longer. I really don't know. But the RM process, I'm sitting with an iPad and working on Audio Pro, which is a great sort of app that I'm using. It's like Pro Logic.
Yeah.
I use that to do all the vocals on and stuff like that. And I've just started sequencing and programming my own drum patterns. So every individual beat is invented by me.
All right. Nice.
Which is a long fucking process to do.
Yeah.
But once I've built the drum kit up and got it how I used to play the drums, doing the flams and stuff like that I used to do, which I'm working on. I worked on it till 3 o'clock yesterday. No, today. No, what day is it? No, last night. Help me.
Yeah.
I'm working on those, and so it's a long process and setting the pans out right and stuff like that. But it's coming out to be the most natural sounding electric.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
We get what you're saying.
So I'm trying to put some humanity back into the playing, because obviously I physically cannot do it. Because my legs don't work no more. But I'm able to use my fingers, and I'm able to sequence things on the iPad, and it's sounding like someone's started to hit a drum kit with some proper drumsticks.
Cool.
And
that's cool that you can do that.
Really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, which is great.
Yeah, I love that.
Work, but I think it will.
Brilliant. Yeah, I love that.
Brilliant.
Lastly, we do ask every band the same question, or every person we get on. If you could have been in any other band in that sort of early 90s scene, who would it have been and why?
I've been asked this before,
Oh, what? I thought we'd come up with it.
No, I think I got it. I got asked this years and years ago, and I couldn't fucking think of one.
You don't have to.
I'm going to give you that same answer. It would have to be the drum forever
there
for me.
Go.
Yeah,
the one you're
fair.
in. Fair enough.
That's fair.
The one I'm in.
Fair enough.
All right. And if people want to keep up with what you're doing, and if you've got any gigs coming, what's the best way to keep up with what's going on with the band?
Best way to keep up with us is on Facebook and Bandcamp. So look us up on our Bandcamp page, and we do. If you follow us on Bandcamp, we send a message when new releases come out. We send a message when we put a demo out. We send a message when we've got a gig coming up, stuff like that. So, and we've got merch for sale on there. So all the T-shirts are on there.
The old Lucky Strike one and all of that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And the extra rough shags are on there and stuff like that. So it's just brilliant to be able to. And print's come on so much now that we can do a small print of. Do you remember the Chewy and the Gum shirt that Mike Dern wore in When I Come Around video?
Yeah.
And that was another thing. Like we were in a record company meeting, and that was being played on MTV in their office.
And he was wearing a China Drum t-shirt.
We were like, look at that. And he goes, what's that, guys? What's the blue t-shirt up there? That's us, that one.
Brilliant.
It was absolutely classic. Yeah, so stuff like that we can do small runs of old classic shirts, you know what I mean? And obviously the new ones that we're doing, because we've done I'll just briefly hold this up.
Yeah, do it. Show us.
The new album,
of the album, and then so we've done a t-shirt with that on. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool.
And then there'd be a T-shirt with that on, which is a very bizarre
Nice.
song. I don't know if you've managed to listen to that all the way through, have you?
No, not yet. No.
I'm suicidal by about 7 minutes into it, so yeah, it's quite
That's
depressing.
brilliant.
That's my favorite. That's what I've modeled my face on.
That's brilliant.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
it's a new album. Is it going to get a vinyl release at all? That
we're hoping
one
to, but
moment,
the
please.
fucking prices of vinyl at the minute.
Fucking hell! Tell me about it, man.
To a vinyl pressing company, and they were just like, "Hold on, do you want me eyes out and me shirt and me fucking firstborn and just to do 1,000 vinyls?" And it's like, "We're gonna sell 1,000 vinyls. Can we do 500? No, I can't do 500." It's like, "Oh fuck this."
Man.
So not in the minute because too expensive.
Yeah, it's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair enough.
Cool. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Around.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure's been ours. So there we go. Adam from China Drum. Funny guy, right? Yeah, it's a really good interview. I really enjoyed that one. He's got some great stories. Dave, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really liked him. He's just such a likable guy. First Geordie we've had on, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Can you do a Geordie accent, Dave?
I can, man. No, I can't do. I can't.
No,
Not at all. Not at all.
Obviously.
It's actually quite similar to the Cardiff accent, but I can't explain why that would be.
Do that one.
I can't do that. No, I can't do that either.
The whole Green Day China Drum connection thing, being on that tour must have helped them out quite a lot. But I think it seems from the stories and from what he said and what I've read, it seems that Green Day were genuine fans of China Drum, right? They handpicked them to go on the tour and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
I reckon they must have seen a bit of themselves in them because
maybe
both three pieces, both that really thumping, very fast
driving
songs.
Yeah.
So they probably just liked them, thought they were good because they sounded like them.
And then we just interviewed Adam, and he's really funny, fun guy to be around. I think that makes a big difference if you're on tour with a band. You got to get on with them as well, right? So
have a laugh,
Yeah. And I just like how he told the story of teaching Green Day to speak Geordie and the visions of
they're really enjoying Viz.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And him coming into the dressing room and quoting stuff in Geordie and stuff. I just think that's great. I love all that sort of stuff.
Difficult to imagine, isn't it? It's great.
Yeah. That tour must have been, great fun. I like the fact they rehearsed in the pig shed, which smelt of piss. It's quite fun.
Didn't ask if they actually had pigs alongside them as they were rehearsing. Or if it was just an old
didn't ask
shed.
That question, you're right.
An empty shed, that's a good point. It could just been empty, yeah.
But I want to imagine it actually having pigs in it.
Right. Just milling around while they're jamming along.
Or like listening and if they can
doing that.
Giving advice and shit. Yeah.
Putting their trotters up in the
air. Yeah.
Let's imagine, let's just pretend that's what happened.
And they kind of snort to show their appreciation if it's a good tune.
They oink, don't they? They don't snort.
They don't oink.
I don't think they really oink.
They squeal and they snort. They don't oink.
I'm with Dave. Do you remember the comic Oink magazine?
No. Vaguely.
It was kind of like a kid's version of Deadline. There was a flexi disc, I think, on issue 1. I'm trying to think what was on it. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, listen to this. Oink! Was a British comic book magazine for children, which was published from the 3rd of May 1986 to 22nd of October 1988. It set out to be deliberately anarchic, reminiscent of Viz, but for children. The creators also cited Mad Magazine as a major influence. Yeah, that was it. I loved Viz. Not Viz, Oink. Right. I was.
I missed that.
Wait. I'm going to see if I can find out what was on the flexi disc because I remember really liking it. Oh, right. Charlie Brooker was involved.
Black Mirror guy.
Yeah, he was still at school at the time, but he contributed various strips.
What's a flexi disc?
Wait there, David. I'm going to show you. I've got one. One moment.
This is what I'm interested in. You know, the actual technical side of it all.
So it looks like a normal 7-inch record, right?
Yeah.
It's this Japanese band,
Does it
Kindy
flex?
Trips.
Flap it.
Right.
Oh man, why don't they just make them all like that?
Because they don't last very long.
Oh, and it's
play
only
it
got
again and again.
one side.
It's only got,
got
well,
one
they
side,
can
right?
have, but yeah.
Wrap it round your knob.
I'm not going to wrap it around. Why would I wrap it around my knob? What purpose would that serve? Why would you say that?
More interesting for the viewers.
There you go, flexi disc. I mean, I probably would be. No, you mean? Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
No, we'd get banned from YouTube.
We probably would. And don't mind a bit of Kinsey and the Trips. There you go, Dave. That's a flexi disc.
Thank you.
I mean, it was an obvious thing to mention that Grant Hart from Husker Du, he played the drums and sung and that, but he brought it up, not us. It gave us sort of carte blanche to talk about it.
Yeah, it's a good shout out.
So did
What?
Phil Collins, right?
Do you like a bit of Phil, Dave?
Yeah, my wife can't stand it, but I quite like him.
Why doesn't she like Phil Collins? I mean, I hate the guy, but why doesn't she like him?
I don't know. She really hates him.
And she doesn't hate anyone.
Exactly. Yeah, she's the nicest person in the world. How can she?
Yeah.
There's something about him, but
Yeah,
I
must
quite
know.
like
There
some
is.
of his songs.
tosser. I really enjoyed hearing about Mega City 4 and how they helped them out and gave them advice and kind of took them under their wing kind of thing. The more kind of, I know Dave hates them, but the more kind of stories we hear about Mega City 4, it's kind of, I'm beginning to understand why, why people have such affection for them. They just seem like the nicest people, right? Just like,
I've made
Hang
it.
on.
I've
I
made
don't
it.
hate
No,
them.
no, Dave, you're not in this conversation.
It's all right, man.
You don't like. If you don't like him, it's fine. Me and Luke will just talk about him. It's fine.
yeah.
You know, you've made your position clear on Mega City 4.
I have not.
I've got similar notes. I think they gave a lot of other bands advice, it seems like. It was very sort of guerrilla, just selling merch, selling CDs at gigs and stuff. Very much like what bands do now, because they can without record labels and stuff. They were big champions of that way of doing things, giving something to the fans, sort of thing, at the gigs. Because, yeah, he said that they gave them the idea to sell their singles at gigs and T-shirts and stuff. And, you know,
And how cool is
all
it?
of that.
The fact that he threw their demo tape on stage and he picked it up,
Brilliant.
went, put it in the tape
Never
player,
works,
listened to
does
it,
it?
thought this is good, and then phoned them up. That's amazing, right?
Never works. You wouldn't have thought that has ever worked, would you? I remember Main Street used to do similar things all the time.
Yeah, what could the difference be? Why could it be that it worked for them but not for you guys? Just can't think.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, eh?
No, but to be fair, you can actually listen to Main Street on Spotify, and they're quite good.
Thanks, Dave.
They're all right. They're good.
It's
They
all
got
right.
some tunes. They did. They did have
Yeah,
some
they
tunes.
have. Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to take those sort of risks, haven't you? When you're in a band, just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? Nothing happens.
You could destroy your self-esteem for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
You
but
could lose like 50p on the blank cassette tape.
You can't really chuck tapes anymore. It'd be USB sticks, and they're more expensive.
Soon you'll just be like flicking them a song on your Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah, just with your mind, your
You'll just
Neuralink.
be sending them one by mind waves. There you go. We've just revolutionised music. Mega City 4 always get a lot of love from the bands, don't they? As well as the fans.
Yeah. I'm beginning to understand why. Yeah, it's great.
Obviously, Wizard's loss was always a big loss, but it's even more so now, it seems. Most bands talk about
The
him.
more we kind of find out about them. Yeah.
Blade Bredin in 1995 and turned up on a fucking hovercraft.
Yeah, I just want to chip in on this. I was listening to the interview. It was so annoying. It's like, what do you two not understand about it? You kept quizzing him on this hovercraft. Like you didn't know what a hovercraft was.
Fucking hell, I didn't know that.
I don't think that came across at all.
You might have just sat there thinking, these idiots don't know what a hovercraft is.
Of course you know
Well,
what
I was.
hovercraft is, but it's pretty mental to take one to a festival, isn't it?
It is meant that, yeah, that's mental. But
Yeah.
It sounded like you just had never heard the word hovercraft in your lives.
Really? Is that how it came across?
Yeah. Yes.
It wasn't meant to. It was meant to be a surprise at taking one to a festival.
I think at one point he might have said, "Do you know what hovercraft is?"
Yeah. I thought it was a weird thing to say. I guess it was us.
Maybe you're right, Dave.
It still
didn't realise.
made good listening. You were right to ask how he said they drove there. Yeah, you can't
we
just drive one on the road, can you?
Well, this is but it can go on road and water. No, you can't.
Yeah.
If they're not roadworthy, no. But Reading Festival is next to a river, so. But that's not how they got there. They took it there on a trailer.
No. Yeah. Makes sense.
Of course, on a trailer.
Yeah.
And then just drove it around the backstage area. Luke, you brought up that they had an American sound, and Dave, you said a similar thing to me the other day. You said, "Are they?" Well, you said, "Are they American?" Didn't you? Because you didn't really know.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that does come across in their music. You can't really. It's not a quintessentially British sound, is it?
No. And you can't hear his accent at all, like when he sings, right?
No. There's no Geordie in there at all.
No.
Same with
I
Sting.
remember the first. Or Rick Astley. He's not Geordie,
Is
but
he
the first time I
Geordie?
heard his speak, no, he's from Manchester. But the first time I heard his speaking voice, I was like, "What the fuck? How can Rick Astley sound like that?"
I thought it was quite interesting that the guy who produced some of their early stuff was the guy who produced Mrs. Robinson, the Lemonheads version of Mrs. Robinson, which I always remember watching on The Word, thinking this is fucking great.
Well, and the video was good too.
Yeah. So yeah, they did sort of, well, not American or English. We just couldn't really tell. It's a bit like Compulsion. They're similar. I'd say they're got a similar sort of
Mid-Atlantic.
You know, they said that they could have got playlisted on Radio 1 if they'd released Wuthering Heights as a single. But they said, "Nah, we're not going to do that."
Fuck the man.
Isn't it?
Punk rock.
I know. I respect that. Because also, if they'd become known for Wuthering Heights, that wouldn't have been right, would it? Because it's
no, because it's then you're not getting recognised for your songs, are you? I guess.
Yeah, but it's also doesn't even it's not even like their songs, is it? The way they did it,
No.
It was just completely off the wall.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's got a China drum sound to it. Their cover. It sounds like them.
If someone had come up to Main Street back in the day and said, "Look, if you release Bop, we'll play on Radio 1."
That's a bad example because it's a great song.
Yeah.
Would you have done it?
I'm not sure if everyone in the band would have, but I just wanted to be in a successful band, I guess. But there's what's success.
Also, you had the hair at the time, didn't you? You had like Hanson hair back then.
Oh yeah, he did.
It depends on how you measure success, doesn't it? If success is fame and money, then that's one form of success. But if it's sticking to your principles and just doing what you want to do, then that's what you got to do, isn't it? That's what they did.
But I mean, there are a lot of bands that do that, right?
Sell out.
No, they're known for a cover, and that's like their big one. You know, Dave's favourite Top Loader are a good example, right?
Oh, by the way, they're playing at Wickfest.
Are they going to do Onka's Big Mocker in its entirety?
Is that the most annoying album title ever?
We've already covered this, but yes.
What are they going to do? Because no one knows any of their other songs. They just play that one song for like half an hour.
Yeah, but at Wickfest, that will go down a treat.
It will.
But the funny thing is, they're not even the headline act.
Oh, really? That's brilliant.
There are two higher up, and I hadn't heard of either of them.
They played at Wembley and they're not even headlining. They've calculated that, Punk Floyd are going to go down better than Top Loader as a headline act.
Yeah.
Which is a good calculation to make.
The only other note I had was, when he was talking about how he's preparing the drum sequences on a computer. I just thought, oh, wow, he's into that side of it too, the technical stuff.
Yeah, because obviously he can't physically play the drums anymore. I think he's basically designing his own drum kit with his own drum sounds, which is cool, right? That's a cool thing to be doing. No, I do like it when, and I think most bands do. They sort of embrace the newer recording technology and stuff. It must be good to have that You can do a lot of it yourself now, can't you?
Well, I think it's by necessity, right? A lot of them they've got day jobs and they're touring sporadically and stuff, and
Yeah.
they don't have the money or the time to go into a big fancy studio, and most of them don't work with record companies anymore. They're doing it by themselves and chucking stuff off from Bandcamp. So it's all part of the kind of the DIY culture that a lot of these kind of reformed bands are taking on, right? Which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I got a thing with it though. I have got a thing with it.
What's your thing with it?
I seem to have got another mentioning for Main Street. It's quite Main Street heavy, this one, but that's all right.
You're trying to get me to put them on the fucking playlist, aren't you? I'm not going to do it, man.
Yeah, do it. Go on.
You've got to now.
What song do you want on there?
Stick on that Streetwalker. You like that one? So put that one on.
I did like that. Yeah. Is it about prostitutes?
Yeah, but it's a positive. It's a positive.
That's good, man. There's nothing wrong with sex work. Is it based on your own experience?
No.
I mean, he was pretty hard up for money during that period, wasn't he, Neil?
Me?
You were. Yeah.
To go down.
Oh, you're implying that I was the sex worker.
Went down Bournemouth docks.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the whole music studios closing down and stuff. It's a real shame. I think it's a real shame that a lot of these bands don't even ever get that experience, because it's just a great experience to go into a proper recording studio.
Did it make you feel like a real band?
Yeah, of course it did. And when we recorded, they were still recording to tape, so they had the big old tape reels going and stuff. And it's cool, you know.
Wow.
I just think it's a shame that doesn't happen anymore. But obviously, you can't just keep things open because it's good fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there might be a whole retro thing of it, people just opening them so that people can have that experience.
I think most music studios that are open now are passion projects. They don't make a great deal of money, but they're run by people that can afford to sort of run them at not a loss, but not make huge amounts of money out of it.
Well, there's that Toe Rag Studios, isn't there, with Billy Childish does. It has all the retro equipment and stuff like that, right?
I was going to say a lot of bands have started recording to tape again, so that's sort of coming back around. Who knows? Maybe it will get a resurgence. But it is a shame to see all these cool studios sort of closing down. But yeah, it's just progress, I guess, isn't it?
And they're always going to be used to record biopics of old bands. The scenes that are recorded in the studio.
Well,
right.
Then you still need a studio for that.
The studio where Main Street recorded.
Has it got a plaque? A blue plaque?
A blue plaque outside.
It's been knocked down. No,
They were so insulted by the noise produced on that day. They destroyed the building. It was tainted forever.
That's it for this one. Hope you've enjoyed it. We enjoyed our chat with Adam. Lovely guy. Thanks, Adam, for coming on. If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below. Let us know your favourite China Drum songs, or if you've seen China Drum live, let us know where you saw them. Just start a conversation about them in the comments below. If you're listening, rate, review, do all that sort of thing. Really helps the podcast get found by other people. Luke, mixtape.
It's going to be basically Main Street Greatest Hits. I'm not even going to bother putting any China Drum on it.
Fair enough. I'm sure Adam would understand.
Oh, can you put Foxhole on it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You're putting Last Chance on there, right?
Yeah, I can do. These are all good ones. I like Meaning as well.
We'll have one each.
All right, I'm going to choose Meaning for mine.
But that's it for this one. Next week, we've got Keith from the Farm, which is a good one. So, yeah, that'll be next week. But that's it for this one. Dave?
See you in a minute.